WNST, Towson, Baltimore, and Baltimore Positive. We are positively into, thank God, the football season. It's 100 degrees outside, but we're going to get through this week. The Orioles are going to be coming home in first place. It is an exciting period of time. We're going to be doing our Maryland Crab Cake Tour down at Fadley's next Friday the 15th with our Coppin State partners, Dr. Anthony Jenkins, as well as basketball coach Larry Stewart. They've been our flagship, or we've been their flagship, I should say, for 10 years, and proud to be their partners over in West Baltimore. So we'll be kicking that off next week at Fadley's. Have you been to Fadley's, Leonard Raskin? I have to ask you this,
Not
man. We got to
the
get you down
new,
there for a crab cake. No, the old one.
the new, the oh yeah, I've been to the old. Sure. But I have they moved to the market yet?
No, they're not in there yet. They're still in the old market, still in it's still there, still in the original space. And every time I go, and maybe I don't want to be macabre about it, but every time I go and see Styx or REO Speedwagon, who I saw last week, every time I see Joan Jett, every time I see Bruce Springsteen coming to town this week, every time I don't see Sting, and I didn't get to see him last week when he came through, I think, man, like, you got to go to see these bands, right? And
Yeah,
Tom Petty, and you got to live your life, and you got to get out there, and you got to do things.
absolutely,
And like,
absolutely.
at
Bucket
some point,
list.
Fadley's is going to be gone, and you're going to say, I wish I had one more crab cake there, the way we all wish we had one more game at Memorial Stadium with our dad or whatever, right? So
That's
this
it.
Buffett thing, dude, I mean, right? I mean, you've been watching this online all week, and this is
It's unbelievable. I'll tell you, I gotta say candidly, I don't want to say I wasn't a fan. That's not the right thing. But I saw him in concert a couple times. I was not a Parrot head,
okay.
but
Why
I
were you
enjoyed
there? Why were you there?
Merriweather, hanging out in the summer 100 years ago, whenever. It's been a long time.
Oh, it was about being young and
Yeah,
girls
being
and
young, and you got
beer
to
and
see
like, okay.
Buffett. You got to hang out. You got to go
Okay,
see
so
Buffett.
you went as a come along, tag along with young
Yeah,
friends.
hang
Okay.
out and have a good time.
Got it. Okay.
But he's not one that I chased or followed. But I enjoyed his music. I certainly enjoyed listening. And goodness knows, the capitalist in me loved the man. What a brilliant marketer. I mean, he took sandals and surfing to an empire level. Let's face it. I don't know. I didn't look at his whole financial history, but what I know is down at the beach, they're getting ready to build a Margaritaville in Ocean City, Maryland, and that wasn't his stomping grounds, but he's got Margaritavilles all over the place. Now, I don't know, because like I said, I haven't looked at the business model.
Hold on a second. Jimmy Buffett's been to Ocean City, Maryland.
No, plenty.
He famously had a plane problem with John Bon Jovi coming out of New Jersey, and they put their plane down in Ocean City, and Batman, my dear late friend, got wind of it, and they went and had crab cakes while they had their plane serviced in Ocean City.
There you go.
There's a picture of Bon Jovi and Jimmy Buffett together in Ocean City. It's crazy, but it's
that's
true.
Beautiful. Yeah, I'm not saying he wasn't there. All I'm saying is I don't know his business model that well. But like I said, I don't know if he licenses Margaritaville like Marriott licenses Marriott to independent owners of hotels, or if there's some empire that owns them. But goodness knows, between books and records and hotels and restaurants, and I mean, the man built an empire with his image and his likeness, and good for him. I mean,
and they say, I'm not a businessman, I'm a businessman.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Shaq. And there you go. His face was everywhere. And the thing that blew me away, I guess it's like, where you were when something happened. Here, like, people are blowing up social media about Buffett dying. It is a big deal. I saw posts from people I would have never thought. They're showing pictures of them at a concert from 70, whatever, 80, whatever.
Wearing coconut boobies and
stuff.
Yeah,
the whole thing. So, yeah, big loss for the world, a big loss for the music industry, big loss for a lot of people, apparently.
What's crazy is I hadn't thought about this, and we're 4 days removed as Leonard Raskin from Raskin Global and I get together here and cut it up. When we talk baseball and football, we're playing all season to do that.
Yep.
And beside, the Orioles are playing late and keeping us awake, and there's no Shohei Ohtani anyway. But the times I've gone and how many concerts and all over the place, I have a Columbus story for you, because I saw Jimmy in Columbus at the Schottenstein Center the one
there you
time
go.
that I was on campus in my life. I've been to the airport a couple of times.
Right.
But I've been down to the hockey rink, but never in it downtown,
right.
just driving through. And it's kind of a regal town. It kind of has statues and fountains. It's kind of a state capital-y kind of place. But the college campus where your boy goes and has been
Yep.
going and you've been
Yep.
paying. I went in there in the early day. It was brand new. It's 20 years. It was before I was married, so it had to have been 2000, 2001, somewhere
Yeah.
in that range. And I flew out to Columbus to see Jimmy Buffett. And
It's a
like,
good quick flight.
yeah, like all of these trips that I make with Springsteen, all these trips I've made to Red Rocks to see Tom Petty 3 months before he died.
Yeah.
I'm not macabre about any of it. And I saw Guns N' Roses and they stunk a couple weeks ago. But
Mm.
like keeping people alive and traveling around and having that memory that Jimmy Buffett is the only reason I ever went to Columbus. So it wasn't
There you
Maryland
go.
football, it wasn't Michigan, Ohio State. It really is. It's its own industry, I think, of memories and all the American dream stuff you talk about. I don't think about how much I paid for the tickets that night or how much the
No.
hotel was or what the
No,
girl's
nobody
name was or
does.
how much the beer was or any of that. It's just, man, I remember where I was sitting that night. I remember what the arena looked like. I remember getting my ticket. I remember running into Michael Utley and getting his autograph that night and saying hello and taking a picture with him. So like you remember these memories, but that's what you're in all the time is get
Absolutely.
that lawn ticket for Buffett if it means that much to you, right?
Absolutely.
Go to
That's
that
right.
show if you need to see. Go to
Go to
that
that
Last Kid show if
show.
you have to, right?
Yeah, do these things, man. We're only living once. Look, you gotta do what it is, those things that matter to you most. Because here's what I know. Think about, like you said, the cost of the ticket. There is, for most people, zero impact in the long run of spending the money on that ticket. We're not talking about not Britney Spears.
No,
Why did I say
Taylor
Britney Spears?
Swift.
Taylor Swift.
We're
We're
not
not talking
talking
about Taylor Swift
$1,200
ticket.
here. We're not talking Super Bowl tickets here.
Right. We're talking about $100 or $80 or whatever it is to go see them. And if you don't see them before they're gone, then one day you look back, like you said, and you go, "Oh, I wish I woulda. If only I'd
I'm
have
looking at all
seen."
these belt buckles I have. I see David Bowie. I'm glad I saw him,
Yep.
right? You know what I mean? Kiss. I'm glad I might be at CFG Bank Arena
There you
but I'm
go.
glad I saw them
Rush.
when I
How
saw them.
about Rush?
Oh, geez.
You
See,
you
it's
didn't
hard for me to
see
accept that they're
you
gone.
you
You know what I
miss
mean?
you miss Neil Peart banging on the set. How about I just saw, where did I see it? On the internet somewhere, because that's where you see everything these days. Phil Collins just did his last ever show.
Yeah.
How about seeing Genesis 30 years ago, 40 years ago?
Those are good nights, man. At the
Oh
stadium down at RFK,
man,
those are good
I'm
nights.
telling you, you can't.
Tonight. Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
I mean, Journey with Perry.
Oh, yeah.
You don't get that again, and unless
You either
of
spent that
course.
$8.80, $7.70 or $6.60 at the Capitol Center in '81.
That's right.
Or you're trying to buy the tour shirt from then for $350 online right now.
That's
It
right.
doesn't fit.
Or you just watch a retrospective documentary on the History Channel, and you say, "Oh, I wish I'd have gone." I'll tell you what, you're gonna think this is crazy. This is the craziest thing. The one band I never saw that I really wanted to see and totally missed was, I never saw Queen. Never saw
Queen.
Freddie Mercury perform
My mom
live.
took me to see Queen in 1980 at the Baltimore Civic Center. It
man.
was literally. Have you seen the Queen movie that was made in Montreal of that
Yeah.
era? You've
Yep.
seen him do radio. Like what
Yep.
Radio Gaga? He was doing.
Yeah.
We Will Rock You with the mic stand.
Yep.
That film, and I could Google this. It was shot in Montreal.
Right.
It was within 5 days of me seeing them here. So
I'm
it was
telling
the
you.
exact same show with the big light structure and the smoke and the smoke
Yep.
pots and all of that stuff. I saw Freddie Mercury, so I have my ticket stub. So
Of course you do.
But I have, I keep on.
What
you know.
possessed you originally? Let me ask you a question.
Go ahead.
What possessed you originally to start keeping those?
I never threw a ticket stub away.
Why?
When you
were a kid, you didn't think to yourself, "I'm going to be in radio someday, and I'm going to want to hold on to all these things."
I have a heart for that, right? I have a it's important to me, right? You collect your memories and collect important experiences in your life. I don't have every single ticket stub from sports in the 70s.
Okay.
I have, but beginning when I was 10 or 11, 79, 80, I
Yep.
went to my first Styx concert. I went to see Frankie Valli at Painter's Mill. Queen was the second concert I ever saw. I saw Queen. I saw ZZ Top the other night, and I really had to think about my stepbrother taking me to the Diguello tour at the Capitol Center, and we had third row tickets. And that was the first concert I ever saw at the Capitol Center
There you
was
go.
ZZ Top. It was the first time I ever heard the song "Highway to Hell" was in the parking lot too. I was 11. It was something. But so these concerts, I always kept the ticket stubs. The Capitol Center stubs were beautiful. They were gray and white and red, white, and blue.
Yeah,
And so
sure.
I kept all my wrestling ticket stubs from the 70s with my parents. But Oriole tickets, a lot of times we didn't get a stub. And maybe they were stealing money when my dad gave $3 and the box office guy maybe didn't give us a stub and just said,
Right.
come on in.
Right. Who
Or we would have
knows?
the little stubs. I have a couple of the little senior citizen. My dad was a senior citizen. My dad
There you
was a
go.
senior citizen. I was a child. So I have a couple of those stubs. And a lot of them, because it was general admission in the 70s, it didn't have June 21st,
Right.
1978.
Right.
It just says $2 general admission on it, and it's got an
But
Oriole
you
logo.
got a collection of stubs
Oh,
that's
I
unreal.
have
Unrivaled. Unrivaled.
I have boxes of my
Right.
they're the collection of my life, right?
It's exactly right. And that's why I said something possessed you to do it, and that's awesome. I don't have any of them. I
Well,
probably
here's
threw them
something interesting
probably
that
threw them on the ground on the way in or the way out.
I
It's
had
terrible.
Leslie Shreve on last week, who
Yeah, I
I
know
think maybe
Leslie.
you know Leslie from
Yeah, I
Productive
do.
Day, and
Sure.
I can give her complete free pluggage here. But I had her on, and I I showed my date minders. I think they're within a couple of feet of my arms here. I probably could grab them. I had to pull these out because I'm doing this 25th anniversary
Yeah,
of
yeah.
when was that barn show with Rod Woodson and Ray Lewis. What night was
Right.
that in 1998? I think it was after the Green Bay game. So I'd have to look, and I could go back in my date minder, 1998, and
Awesome.
see that I was in Green Bay on October 23rd. No, that must have been the 24th or whatever the date was, right? So I have all of this, like Mary Lou Henner, in my life. And I had Leslie on talking about the power of Google Calendar, right?
Yeah.
When Jimmy Buffett died, I put the words Buffett into my calendar, and I could immediately access every concert that's marked in my calendar since
Yeah, that's great.
2009. And
Right.
then I can go back and say, I was at that show in Camden in 16 when Huey Lewis opened and my wife didn't go and I was in the 8th row. I know I have video from that night. And I could go back. Like keeping track of your life and being organized and
Yeah.
knowing dates and like all of that. But the organizational part of that for me and being organized, you mentioned these ticket stubs. It organizes, it files in my Mary Lou Henner crazy ADDH brain,
Yeah.
like where I was
It's
when the
awesome.
83 World Series happened,
No, it's
right?
fantastic. It's fantastic. I remember the night Chicago died. I was at the well, I guess I don't know if it was BWI or Friendship Airport back
Was that
then.
the Tito Landrum home run you're talking about?
Yeah, I'm talking about when the O's flew back home from Chicago
After the Landrum home
after the
run.
win, right after the win, and I was at the airport outside the fence screaming. I was right on the fence when they flew in and they saw all the fans. I was out there.
I remember Landrum hitting the home run, and I remember my mom giving me pots and pans, and we were banging pots and pans. No, this is true. I don't
Yeah, I
bullshit.
get it.
I
Sure.
was 14 years old, banging pots and pans. So Leonard Raskin is
That's it.
here. He is Raskin Global. He's the American Dream. He follows money, all that. Let's get a little sports in here because,
Yes.
I've
How
got a
about
great
them
week,
O's,
right?
huh?
Well, I mean, we're up late. All they do is win. I don't want to say it's
beautiful.
boring.
No, it's wonderful.
We've never experienced anything like
No,
this.
the expectation is a win. So they get down 1-0, 2-0, and you go, so what? So what?
Henderson on a 3-run homer in the 5th, and we'll be back in this.
Yeah, well, Gunner's coming up. Adley's coming up. We got no problem. O'Hearn's coming up. Mountcastle's hitting the ball right up the middle. There's another RBI. No worry. They're running like crazy. They're running the bases like I've never seen. And the pitching is stellar. I mean, everybody wants to get rid of a guy that gives up 2 home runs. It was a really quirky play. What was it? Sunday, 4th inning when they were playing
Arizona,
and the guy, they didn't quite have a double play, and then they had no outs. I thought for sure that guy ran out of the baselines, but what do I know? I guess I don't know the rules.
Quickly, and yeah, it looked a little nefarious, and
I don't know the rules apparently.
Well, I think with all the balls and strikes in the zone where every pitch that the umpires being measured as to whether they
Yep.
got it
Yep.
right or wrong, and every strike zone being different for guys my size than for Aaron
Yep.
Judge, you would say. But getting baselines right and getting safe and out right with HD cameras that zoom in on every aspect
Yeah.
of it.
I'd have thought he was out of the baselines at second base, and then I figured they would at least get that out, if not award the double play. I know they can't award the double play, but I thought they'd at least get the one out, but they didn't. But what happened? Ties up at 4-4. Flaherty doesn't have a fabulous day, but he did okay. It's tied up at 4, and then they come back and blow 5 runs off. It's like nothing. Or 8-5, 9-5,
Well,
whatever.
then you don't need your closer when that happens.
That's the beauty. That's the
Yeah.
beauty. They're winning by 4, 5, 6, and you can just ease the bullpen into the late innings, and you don't have to worry about these 1-run games. And
listen, Means is up to 70, 80 pitches now.
Yep.
We're getting to the point where he's going to be up here next week, I think. And they have to give these guys trial runs. This Tampa series looms as something different than anything we've seen here in a little while, right? For a weekend.
Absolutely.
We're going to be down there next weekend.
It's 4-game, isn't it?
Yes, begins Thursday night.
Yeah, Thursday. I think I'm going Thursday night. I may
have a little spot for you to come down onto the Nest and have a brewski with me down at the convention center, and I'll show you a view of the city you've never seen before. It's beautiful.
Let's do it. I'm going to be down there Thursday night, and then I think I'm going to be stopping into Fadley's, like you said. I'm going to stop in on Friday morning.
All right.
And have a breakfast crab cake. How could you not have a breakfast crab cake?
So here's the problem with Fadley's. Let me give them a little bit of love. All right. I was going to Fadley's for 25 years. I mean, at least 20 before I knew them, right? I always saw them on TV. I knew I'd seen Nancy and Dave, I would just go in whenever friends would come to my condo, which is where I live. This is the picture where I live.
Yep.
And they would say, let's get a crab cake, and be like, we're going to walk over to Fadley's at lunchtime. We're going to do it upright, get some fries and coleslaw.
Yep.
And I did that 5 times a year for 15 years with friends. This family, when my wife's family came that wanted a crab cake, we would take them out in the county and get crabs at Al's or Costas, which I did plenty of, right? But downtown, if you're in for a game or
got to go to Fadley's,
we would go to Fadley's, right? And I didn't know them. And then the first 3 years of this Baltimore Positive thing, they would bring me a crab cake. I'd hold it up. The tomatoes are unbelievably delicious. They're like vinegary, so a little salad with it. And I would always get the same thing. Since the plague, Damie has been taking me on a ride. Their shrimp salad is the best shrimp salad I've ever had anywhere. So get it. Their mac and cheese is absurdly good. They have this cucumber salad that
not my thing, but I'm with you.
Only they do. It's a vinegary cucumber. It's sweet. It's delicious, like sweet pickles. It's almost like a relishy kind of delicious. But so don't just get the crab cakes when you come down. You're like, crab cake for breakfast. I'm like, hold on, we're gonna get you
maybe
some
shrimp salad for breakfast. Fried oysters.
Fried oysters. You got to do the fried oysters there. So
I don't know if do they do char grill? Do they do the char?
They don't
grill?
have a char. They don't. They
okay,
have that
they don't have the grill.
No.
Got it. I'll do
the
fried.
Chuck you a dozen.
No, I'm not interested in the.
You don't do raw oysters?
I don't do the Slurpee. No.
You're a weird eater, Leonard. You really are. Right?
Yes,
your wife says that too, right?
Absolutely. I'm very particular. Very particular. I have a couple. Quick story. I have a couple that are clients, and every year we do a crab feast for our guests.
I just got
friends.
the invitation, so thank you for that.
Beautiful, beautiful. And I asked this couple, "Are you coming?" And he says, "The guys." Now this is a couple from Maryland. Okay, not Baltimore, but PG, or Montgomery, but Maryland. And he says, the smell of seafood repulses me.
Oh.
And I said to him, are you sure you're from Maryland? And he looked at his wife and he said, you too, right? And she said, I said, oh my God. I said, we'll have chicken and roast beef. We'll have plenty of other food. He goes, I can't even sit in the room with all those crabs. I'm like, dude, there is something materially wrong in your brain.
Well, I know people with shellfish allergies and peanut allergies, and that's different. But like
my sister's allergic. She a couple of, I don't know, 10 years ago, she had some shrimp and blew up and out of nowhere, closed her throat up.
You better hope it's not in your DNA, because she's.
Well, you know what?
Right?
You know what? If I've always said, if I became allergic to shellfish, I would carry an EpiPen and I would eat and bang that thing right into my leg. There would be no stopping. I would suffer the pain of an EpiPen in my hand to eat crabs. There is no doubt about it.
So the damnedest thing happened last week, and I'm glad I'm telling you about this. Because Leonard Raskin, you can follow him at Raskin Global, and this will be. I'll conclude with this because we'll have plenty of football to talk next week after there's like an outcome. We've been talking football
Yeah,
for
right.
9 months.
It's coming.
Nothing.
It's coming.
So my wife made this giant pot. Thank you to Wise Markets because like you're all brilliant. I mean, she made this giant pot of crab soup last week. We gave some of it away.
Sounds good.
Bill Cole was pooping on my crab soup down at Fadley's because my wife puts okra and white corn and stuff. And like, so I offered him some. He didn't come and get it, so I ate it. So my wife got crab claws and put it in the soup as a base, and we just did it all up. It was beautiful, big. We gave some to my son. We gave some to Dr. Steve Elliott down at LA Chiropractic Life, my partner. So I got a bowl of it, and it had like 4 crab legs in it. And my wife doesn't want to fart with the crab legs, especially after they've been boiled. They're not like that great. And I reached in, I'm like, all right, I'm going to crack these. I ate the whole bowl of soup and I put the legs on the side. And I went there and I reached in the drawer and I pulled out the crab mallet. It was your crab mallet with the beer opener.
There we go. No.
I only thought I had one.
Uh-oh.
The one that I've had on the set that hasn't been used. This one was dirty and it was in, and I'm like, we used it at your crab feast last year. My wife brought it home, washed it, put it away, and it's the first time I've had a crab in the house because we don't bring crabs in the house. We go down to Cosmos and eat. We're gonna have Fadley's and eat them. We go eat them out, and so I have 2. So I do have 2 crab mallets. I only thought I had 1.
Well,
I have 2.
Guess what? You show up at the feast, you have an opportunity for 2 more.
Do you have more?
We have more. We have something. We have a wild surprise this year. We have some interesting doings. Yeah, some great doings always.
This is your.
It's our one big event every year. We invite all our clients and friends out and invite them to bring friends, people that they think would want to meet us and benefit from meeting us and learning about how to get their American dream right up. And we crack crabs and we eat good food. We have a lot of laughs and good fun, and that's what we're doing this year.
Your event's in October, right? Middle October?
Yeah, right. Late October. When the crabs are big and plentiful.
Last thing on Ravens. Just a prediction for you. You're bullish that they're going to be playing football in January. That's your expectation.
Absolutely. I made a bet with a friend last week. This is crazy, guy. He said Ravens don't break 500. We bet $1. I've got the over. He's got the under 500. I've got the over for $1.
Yeah,
I said,
I'm going to have my Hollywood casino guy on this week, Christian, and we're going to be talking about all the game stuff.
Yep.
These are the times where I would say to him right now, like, if I bet the Ravens are going to be 5-0, let's just pretend they're going to win 3 road games in the division.
Yeah.
What would that like that?
That's got to be a big bet.
Exotic, right?
You can bet anything these days. My goodness, you can bet on Lamar Jackson throwing for 6,000 yards in the season. I'm sure you can bet on that because he said it. I wouldn't take that bet, but I'm not a betting man.
Take any bet you want.
Well, I take it for 10. I take it for $10, but I wouldn't bet anything that mattered.
Yeah, but if
how about the Orioles? No, that's why I said for $10.
10 points this week is all they need to do.
Right. How about the Orioles beginning of the season making the playoffs? I'm sure that was a long shot.
I want to give a free plug for Costas. Mr. Costas came out running to me back in like June or July. They were still in second place.
Okay.
And he said, come back into my office. And I love him because he always gives me free beer, even when I don't want free beer.
Yeah.
But he's Greek. This is what they do. I've discussed this with Dennis in the past. Takes me back and he always said, I want to show you here. And he showed me a ticket, and it was $100.
There you go.
I think it was them making the playoffs.
Okay.
Or winning the division. Maybe it was winning the division.
Okay.
And it was like seriously 18, 20. It was enough to pay for
World
Series tickets.
That's right. That's a good thing. That's a good thing. So I think
I'll buy my World Series tickets.
There you go. So we got what? 17 games? Is that we got 17 games?
Well, magic number's 22 as we sit here. It'll be
No. I'm talking about the Ravens. The Ravens. 17 games. 17 games, and I say they win 12.
12 and 5.
12 and 5. 12 and 5, and win the division.
This is, for me, Cincinnati and Pittsburgh are as interesting as them. It's
going to be a tough season.
This first month, you're going to see what the Browns are made of. You're going to see
That's
what the
right.
Ravens are made of. By the
Right out of
time
box.
we go to Nashville, we will have played everybody in the division on the
Yep.
road.
Yep.
And if it smells good at 4-1, the Ravens are awesome. If they're 2-3, they're in trouble.
You're in trouble. But I say 12-5.
Yeah.
And I think the Orioles, back to that, I think the magic number for the playoffs is, I think, 14. Is that right? 14?
22 for the division, correct. As we sit here, it'll be different by the time people even hear this, but yes.
Right. But 14, I think, for the playoffs, 22 for the division. It's cool to be counting the magic number.
Never, yeah.
It's been years since we've had the opportunity to weekly now count the magic number.
Remember,
and
it
it's
used
also
to be a big black on the Baltimore Sun on the front page.
Beautiful.
In September.
It's beautiful. And it's also good to, how do you root for Boston? You root for Boston to beat the Rays. You root for the Yankees right now because who cares? Let's just knock the Rays out. That, like you said, that 4-game series is going to be killer. It's going to be great. Take 3 or 4 and put them away.
Leonard Raskin will be at the ballpark next week. He'll be at the stadium this week as well. The Houston Texans, the JV, in town this week.
C.J. Stroud.
Yeah, well, of course, Ohio State. Oh, dotting the O.
Got to root against them. Got to root against them this week.
Sloopy here. We'll get that out in Cleveland in a couple weeks as well. I'm Nestor. He's Leonard. We are WNST AM 1570. Towson, Baltimore. We never stop talking Baltimore.